Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, again, another video on CRISPR. Today in this video, you're going to find a few things that I'm going to talk about. One is the approval of Casgevy for TDT for adults, way ahead of schedule, and what it means to CRISPR Therapeutics, and also a note of caution that I would advise. I'm just going to talk about my thoughts of what are the options in front of CRISPR going forward, and why what they're doing right now seems to be the right approach. So to check this all out, watch until the end of the video and let me have your comments so that I can understand where you come from. With that said, my friends, I'd like to start the video now. Let's get started. Well, friends, it's starting to happen. CRISPR Therapeutics is building momentum. FDA did not have to wait until the PDUFA date in March 2024 to grant approval for Casgevy to treat TDT. The approval arrived yesterday, almost 2 months in advance, and allows Casgevy to be used as a one-time treatment for transfusion-dependent beta thalassemia, or TDT, in patients that are 12 years or older. This did not go unnoticed. Samarth Kulkarni, CEO of CRISPR Therapeutics, said in his remarks to mark the occasion that, and I quote, "We are pleased with the approval of Casgevy in TDT well ahead of the PDUFA date, and the approval is a reflection of the power and versatility of the CRISPR platform to bring a potentially curative treatment option to patients suffering from these devastating diseases." Partner company VRTX CEO Reshma Kevalramani said, and I quote, "On the heels of the historic FDA approval of Casgevy for sickle cell disease, it's exciting to now secure approval for TDT well ahead of the PDUFA date. TDT patients deserve new, potentially curative treatment options, and we look forward to bring Casgevy to eligible patients who are waiting." Casgevy involves editing a patient's own hematopoietic stem cells and progenitor cells at the erythroid-specific enhancer region of the BCL11A gene via a precise double-strand break. This process produces elevated level of fetal hemoglobin in red blood cells, which is form of the oxygen-carrying hemoglobin found naturally during fetal development. And this particular edit effectively shut down the BCL11A or suppresses the BCL11A function. And that allows fetal hemoglobin to be produced. And this mixture of fetal hemoglobin and sickle-celled hemoglobin ensures that at any point of time, the patient doesn't get into a situation where there is too many of sickle-celled hemoglobin. And therefore, the patient experiences a much better quality of life and low or no VOEs. And the fetal hemoglobin have high oxygen carrying capacity, so they compensate for the sickled cells. And overall, it's a very good, elegant solution. By now, most of you on this channel know that I'm a fan of CRISPR. However, I have a note of caution for CRISPR Therapeutics, that is to move into advanced gene editing technology like base and prime editing, or develop their own gene editing technology over and above CRISPR Therapeutics so that all their therapy doesn't have to have double-strand breaks. So in theory, it should be possible to achieve the same results as Casgevy using base or prime editing without inducing double-strand breaks. Both base and prime editing offer more targeted and precise modification to specific DNA sequences without the need for cutting both DNA strands. If the specific edit Casgevy performs on BCL11A gene to turn it down involves altering a particular base pair or sequence, base editing, which directly converts one DNA base to another, could be a suitable alternative. Prime editing, on the other hand, provides even more flexibility by allowing the insertion, deletion, or replacement of specific sequences without requiring double-strand breaks. Basically, correcting the gene is another option that opens up as well with more advanced gene editing technologies. So exploring base or prime editing for BCL11A gene modification could potentially offer a more refined and controlled approach compared to the traditional CRISPR-Cas9 method and allow CRISPR/Vertex preserve their lead. However, it may not be as simple as that because I'm talking about a very simplistic scenario. For this, I'm going to give you an example. Imagine you stumbled into a secret cave and you found that the cave had immense treasures, gold, diamonds, and all that kind of stuff. How do you decide what you're going to pick up in when you leave in your first trip out? It's going to be a very difficult decision to make. And CRISPR Therapeutics is in a similar situation and has to decide whether it will increase the breadth of its disease coverage or focus on enhancing the approved therapy. And from that perspective, I'm really glad that they are proceeding to diversify their pipeline. I have changed my mind from the way I used to look at that before. Any competitor who has capital would rather focus on a new indication where there is no competition instead of jumping into the SCD/TDT arena where there are multiple approved candidates and a few more in the clinical trials which are ready to roll out. So I think that a base or prime edited solution is not imminent because it is going to take another 3 or 4 years for it to go through clinical trials and then succeed. By that time, it wouldn't make much of a commercial sense and the price that will be commanded will be much less. So I don't see any of the other competitors coming in. Maybe Bluebird and CRISPR Therapeutics can take a second shot at it at a future date when their patent for Casgevy runs out. So that's the way I'm looking at it. So I think they're doing the right thing. CRISPR is doing the right thing by broadening their pipeline, scouting for new partners for their pipeline candidates. And that's going to make them more versatile. Now, that said, let us look at the price action today to see if the news of Casgevy's approval for TDT has moved a needle or whether it was already built into the pricing. Let's go to the TradingView platform. Well, friends, here we are in the TradingView platform. Each of these candles is a one-day candle. And you can see that today we have broken down below the 50-day exponential moving average. And this is a very unfortunate development for CRISPR. And I can see that the MACD as well as the momentum is looking weak. So we are now looking at the next level of support, which is going to be at 59.23. So CRISPR ended the day at 60.86, down 4.05%. I think this is the overall market sentiment which is working on CRISPR Therapeutics. And one of the drivers of the market sentiment is the latest economic news report. Here I would like to point to a CNBC article which says retail sales data for December came in stronger than expected, indicating a resilient consumer and putting aggressive rate cuts from the Federal Reserve into doubt. Retail sales were up 0.6% from November and gained 0.4% month over month, excluding autos. Economists polled by Dow Jones had estimated a 0.4% month-to-month increase in retail sales and 0.2% ex-autos. So you can see that there is almost 0.2% increase in both cases. And the 10-year Treasury yield was last trading nearly 4 basis points higher at 4.102%, continuing its rise from Tuesday after Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller warned easing monetary policy may come slower than anticipated. So friends, when the yield is going up, it means the face value of the market value of the bond is going down. And therefore, people will buy the bonds and get a better returns in the bond market rather than taking the risk in the stock market. And when it comes to the stock market, they would rather be in a dividend-paying blue-chip company which is well-established rather than in an innovative company at the cutting edge of technology which is much riskier and which is not paying dividends. So that's why you will see that most of our genomic stocks have been knocked down today, and CRISPR is no exception. And now if I was to sort this out with the biggest losers, CRISPR fortunately is not the biggest loser. There are other companies ahead of it. But given the fact that we had the good news of Casgevy so ahead of time, I would have expected that CRISPR Therapeutics would have been at least flat or would be at the bottom of the losers out here. So from that point of view, I'm a little bit disappointed. And I'm just going to do a quick technical analysis for this share right now. I'm going to take another trend line and I'm going to try and see if we can have another bull channel, maybe an inferior one that could possibly give us support. And with that in mind, I have drawn this line of support out here, which is connecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. And this is the latest point. So we'll see if tomorrow we are in a position to break out above. Because if I look at this formation out here, I can think of this as a bull channel, and I can think as a bullish pennant. And if it's a bullish pennant, then it has to break out on the upside. That's what I'm looking at. I'll be proved right or wrong as the days progress. In the next 2 or 3 days, we'll have to see a decision being made by CRISPR whether it's going to go above this line of resistance, because this is the wedge that is forming out here. Will it go up from here? The other wedge that I can see here is basically from here to here. So this is how I'll draw the wedge. So either we break out on the top here and then we break out from here. So this is the pennant I'm looking at. And I think by the time we get to know it, it'll be 1st of February 2027. And their earnings are out on 13th of Feb 2024. So this is neither here nor there. So friends, these are the perils of people who invest in cutting edge technology, especially in a sector which is infant and which has yet to give dividends, and which probably depends on risk-taking investors to generate capital. The entire genomics sector is like this, and there is always a little bit of hype because there are knowledgeable and pioneering investors who are willing to take that risk, because of which these new fields start to develop and mature. Once they are mature, every Tom, Dick and Harry would like to invest in them and get steady dividends. You're seeing the same action now in artificial intelligence, which again is a cutting edge technology. And the companies out there, there are lots of startups which are doing various things with AI. They are also looking for capital, and there's a whole bunch of investors out there who are also looking at their watch list of stocks like we are doing here with genomics. And they're also probably facing the same kind of feeling that we have. But this is a transitory process, and those who are patient will end up reaping the benefits of early entry into this nascent sector. But in order to be able to withstand all these ups and downs, one has to make sure that they have done diversification of their portfolio and that they have not invested more than they can afford into the stock market. So if anyone has done those kind of things, they can hold on. For example, I have a stake in CRISPR Therapeutics, and I can hold it on for a very long period of time without worrying. So I'm fine whether the price is coming down. Right now also I'm still profitable on my CRISPR holding. So if you're diversified, you can take part in the AI revolution as well as genomics revolution without losing sleep over it. So that's what I would advise, that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread it out a bit. So with that, my friends, I would like to bring this video to an end. Please let me know whether this news of Casgevy's approval ahead of schedule, way ahead of schedule for TDT, makes you look at CRISPR Therapeutics positively, and what is your strategy going forward. Put everything in the comments below, and I would be really happy to read them. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.